ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
The LouieTeeNetwork is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Chargers, Chiefs, AFC West, family business. And if these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, woo-wee, that's some good old-fashioned AFC West family business. Man, that was fun. I feel like I've said that the last 5 or 6 primetime games straight. Cups up, Commanders fans. Cheers to a great bye week. College football was great. NFL was great today. I mean, what more could you ask for? Capped it off. Well, we still got one more game, but capped it off with a great exclamation point on Sunday night. Chiefs do it again. They did it again. 19-17. And, you know, for some people, games like these aren't fun. I love division games because a lot of times they look like this. Two teams that know each other. You heard Patrick Mahomes on the audible. Derwin's coming, right? Like, they know what the Chargers are doing. The Chargers know what the Chiefs are doing. It's just, can you stop it? Can you make a play? And the Chiefs made the plays when the plays were there to be made, and the Chargers didn't. And we're going to talk about that because ultimately that's what I think was the deciding factor in the outcome of this game. And when you're playing the best in the league, when you're playing the upper crust of the NFL, you can't afford to miss opportunities. And for the second time in 3 weeks, Justin Herbert missed an opportunity against the NFL's upper crust, and they didn't win the game. And for as good as he was tonight, you can't do it, right? But let's start with the Chiefs. They've won the AFC West for the 9th straight year in a row. They're on some Patriots shit. They're excellent, and they know it. And even though that's a competitive division, Broncos are a really solid team. So are the Chargers. It's still all about the Chiefs now at 12-1 with this 19-17 victory. Harbaugh has turned around that Chargers program, but there's still a number of pieces away from. And you know what? Hats off to the Chargers. You know what? We'll save that for when we get to the Chargers. So for the Chiefs, let's start with Mahomes. He got his ass whooped tonight. They were hitting him so often in that first half in particular. They still got to him in the second half as well. I've never seen Mahomes hit this much in an NFL season before. He is leading the league. They gave us some real, crazy LeBron James stat where he's leading the NFL in the most interceptions thrown while being hit. That seems like some shit you create for Patrick Mahomes to make an excuse for him throwing picks. Like, what? Interceptions thrown while being hit? Okay, whatever. He's got 11. That's a lot of interceptions for Patrick Mahomes. And, I say that, but if you look at Mahomes' career and you look at he's a gunslinger. Like, at his core, that's who he is. So I would imagine, I haven't looked at his numbers, but I bet you he's got more double-digit interception seasons than not, is my guess, up until this point of his career. Because he throws caution to the wind. He's going to make plays happen, and if he doesn't, he's going to die trying. And if an interception happens in the midst of trying to make a play, so be it. Like, scared money don't make money. And the reason why Mahomes is so good is because a lot of times he doesn't give a shit. And when you can do the things that he can do, and you're surrounded by the weapons that he's been surrounded by throughout his career now, again, of late, it hasn't been great, but they've put him in a position to win another Super Bowl with the guys that they've surrounded him with, right? Going out and getting DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, adding him to the roster during the season after he was cut by New England. And then you're probably going to get Hollywood Brown back. They're talking about him practicing in this month of December. So they're already AFC West champions. They're probably going to be the number 1 seed. There's a realistic chance that by the time they come off that first round bye, they got Hollywood Brown in the mix, and he would have had a whole 2 weeks to practice and get up to speed. And think about how dangerous they can be. And I've said this all season long while they've continued to win. They aren't playing well. They aren't playing well. Mahomes is having one of the worst statistical seasons of his career. The offense is spotty at best. They've had injuries. The left tackle position is a mess. The guy that they brought in to solidify it, he left with a hamstring injury today. So they had to bring one of the guys back in that they didn't want to put in Wanye Morris. They are struggling on the offensive line. They've been playing musical chairs, especially at left tackle. And Mahomes is getting hit because of it. And they're still finding ways to win. That should scare every single team in the AFC, that they are finding ways to do this. Now they're 2 games clear of anybody in the AFC because the Bills lost to the Rams in an epic game, by the way. This team's going to end up with the number 1 seed again. And all roads to the Super Bowl in the AFC are going to go through Arrowhead again, or GEH, or whatever the hell the name of the stadium is. It's Arrowhead. And it starts with 15. Because if you can't stop 15, you don't have a shot. And despite him getting hit a ton tonight, despite the run game being okay, not really all that impactful, despite him not really being able to connect on those deep balls, had a chance to DeAndre Hopkins, he couldn't hold on. Despite them not being able to hit the big play, when they had to have it, and Chris Collinsworth said this during the telecast, here's the thing about Mahomes. He hasn't been great all season, right? It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been aesthetically pleasing. But when the game has been on the line, 15 always shows up and is present and accounted for every single time, right? He did it again. 3rd down, game on the line, because with the way the Chiefs defense was playing in that second half, the Chargers were going to get in the field goal range. And you were going to lose this game, more likely than not, 20-19. So they knew what they had to do. They had to score with no time left. Because if they gave it back to the Chargers, they were probably going to lose this game 20-19. And they knew it. So on 3rd and 4, they roll Mahomes out. He eludes Deion Henley, who had a fantastic game. The 2nd-year product out of Washington State had a fantastic game. But that's Patrick effing Mahomes. And when the game is on the line, he's going to make a play. And so he eludes him, dumps it off to Travis Kelce, who's kneeling down 3 yards past the first down yardage marker for the first down. And at that point, you felt like it was a formality. I told Commanders fans a long time ago, Matthew Wright stinks as a kicker. Don't want any parts of him, right? And the Chiefs understand his weakness. He doesn't have a strong leg. That's the first reason why I didn't want any parts of him. If you don't have a strong leg in this environment in the NFL, I can't deal with it, because I watched the Eagles today have no trust in their kicker. This has nothing to do with, strength of leg. They just didn't trust him to kick a 54-yard field goal. That almost cost them the game, right? Like, in this day and age, you better be able to kick a 54-yard field goal. Matthew Wright can't kick a 54-yard field goal. So I don't want any parts of you. But the strength of his game is supposed to be accuracy. And if that's your strength, then anything inside of 50, I expect you to make it. Sean Sweezum was one of those types of kickers, once upon a time. One of those guys that anything inside of 50, Sean Sweezum was money. You asked him to kick a 51-yarder, good luck, right? So Matthew Wright was supposed to be money here. And in typical Chiefs fashion, boy, nobody who has better luck than the Chiefs? Nobody. This man hits the upright and it kicks through. And as Mike Tirico said, and I thought he summed it up beautifully, doink for the division. Who else has the type of luck that the Chiefs have? Unreal. But I've always also said, you make your own luck, you make your own breaks, right? And luck is supposedly when preparation and opportunity meet. And if you're prepared and the opportunity meets, and the opportunity presents itself, rather, you can get lucky. And the Chiefs are always prepared. They seem to be always prepared for the moment. And luck never seems to miss them, right? And it happened again tonight. The defense did just enough. It wasn't great in that second half. For as good as the defense was in the first half, and I use the phrase good in the first half loosely because, boy, was Palmer open or what for a touchdown, and Herbert missed him. And when we start with the Chargers, that's where we're going to start, because you coming for the king. You best not miss. All right. If you're going to come at the king, you best not miss. They had a chance against the Ravens right before the half, right? Josh Palmer opened up the seam and Herbert missed him. And I was like, you can't miss that. Not if you want to beat the Ravens. They're better than you. You had an opportunity. You missed it. Can't do that. Not if you want to beat them, right? But the defense was good in the first half. You know, there were some breakdowns. There were some opportunities, but the Chargers didn't necessarily take advantage of it. But for as good as they were, the Chargers were able to really take advantage of them in the second half. And got to give them credit. They buckled down there on that last stretch, because if they would have given up a touchdown, obviously the Chiefs were in a position where they could have gotten a touchdown back if they needed to. But it really would have started to come down to clock, right? If they would have got that last first down. And it was crazy because Chris Collinsworth was talking about the new corner that was in, number 39, I think it was. And I'm watching him, like I'm eyeballing the shit out of him, because I'm like, I mean, they really tapping into some serious depth at this point. And they run a pick play, but nobody runs into him. He just doesn't do a good job of getting through the traffic and the garbage. And Darius Davis is wide open. I mean, it's a slant. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like a slant, pseudo shallow cross, but it's more of a slant because he was kind of going up the field. He wasn't going straight across. And I'm like, oh my God, he's so open. But Herbert wasn't working that side of the field. And by the time he tried to come back that way, Wharton had already got to him and sacked him, but he was open. And you would think Herbert would be smart enough to understand, hey, we got a youngin out here. Let's target him. So I don't know what the first read was supposed to be. To hell with what that is. I'm looking at 39 because I know he's scared shitless, and I'm finna go target him right now. And if he would have done that, it was barbecue chicken over there. But he didn't do that. He ended up getting sacked. You got to give the Chiefs defense credit. Chris Jones made a big play when they tried to give it to Darius Davis on a jet sweep. They stood up. They stood tall. They got the stop when they needed to force the Chargers to kick that field goal. But also, in the process of doing that, conserve time and the timeouts for the Chiefs offense so that they could go down and do what they ultimately did, which was go win the game. And then Mahomes, you know, the opportunity presented itself. He wasn't going to miss. The big third down, escapes the pocket, extends, jump throw to Worthy over the middle on a big third, and I want to call it 7. Like, that was one of the biggest plays of the game, because if they get the stop there, you're probably going to have to punt the football, probably going to have to ask your defense to get a stop. You got all 3 of your timeouts. You can't go for it there in that situation. And so they would have been in a world of trouble. Like, they probably would have lost the game, because with the way the Chargers offensively were moving the football, I don't know if they would have been able to get a stop. It's kind of similar to that Bills game with the Rams. That Bills defense wasn't getting a stop against the Rams. They just weren't. And they knew it. And so you have to take certain measures when you realize, hey, we can't stop them. And the Chiefs knew that we can't. That's why it was imperative that they got that first down at the end, because we can't stop them. They're going to get into field goal range, and their kicker has a big leg, and they're probably going to beat us. So we need to keep this football and make them use all their timeouts, which they did, and then run this thing down and kick a walk-off field goal, which they did. Because if they didn't do that, you're going to lose the game. It's the same reason why Dan Campbell on Thursday Night Football opted to go for it instead of kicking a field goal, which we all were like, man, that was risky business, bro. But he knew his defense was reeling. They were down to their 9th string corners and 5th string defensive linemen. He knew what it was. They were on their 18th string safety. He knew what time it was. They signed 2 dudes in Quan Alexander and Jamal Adams on Sunday or Saturday. Those dudes were starting on Thursday. That's the type of time they were on. He knew, I can't put this defense back out there. They've given me everything they have tonight. But if I put them back out there, we're going to lose this game. Worst case scenario, we go into overtime. But we ain't winning the game. But if I go for it on 4th down and we get this, we winning this thing right here in regulation. And that's what they did. And that's what Andy Reid understood tonight. He understood the assignment. Can't get this ball back to the Chargers. We're going to lose this game. And when the plays were there to be made, and they had to be made, Mahomes did what he always does. He made them. And the defense did just enough to help them win this game. That was a fun one. And the Chargers, this has got to be painstaking for them, because this is their move against the Chiefs. Close, but no cigar. They had them on the ropes. They were up 10-0 earlier this season in LA. Let them off the hook. I think they ended up losing that game 17-10. This is their move against them. A couple of years ago, I remember the Thursday night game. Herbert's got these boys on the ropes. And at that time, they had, what's the name of the damn tight end? Gerald Everett at tight end. And he was killing the Chiefs. And he just made a play to get them down inside the probably like 3-yard line. And he was asking to come out the game. Y'all remember this. We talked about it on the overtime that night. He asked to come out, and they told him stay in the game, as if they about to run it and he'll get a chance to rest. Nope. They told him to stay in the game. He ran an out route. He half-assed it because he was tired of shit, and he stopped. He didn't think the ball was coming to him. Herbert throws it to him and throws it right to the damn corner. I think it was Jalen Watson, who was out of this game. And a star was born. We learned his name that night, and it was like a 101-yard pick six, and they ended up winning that game to the Chiefs. All off of that. They should have lost that game. The Chargers were the better team that night, but that pick six proved to be the difference in that game. And they always find themselves in this situation against the Chiefs, and they never seem to find a way. Never seem to find a way to win. They haven't found a way to win one of these types of games against the Chiefs. Probably, it feels like, and Herbert might have won one of these like in his rookie season or something against them. But it feels like they haven't won one of these since Phillip Rivers days. That's what it feels like. It feels like they never win these close ones against the Chiefs. This has got to suck if you're a Chiefs fan. You get tired of having these same conversations about how we didn't do this or we didn't do that. And this is why we lost to the Chiefs again. But credit to the Chiefs for making all the plays that needed to be made in this game. So you go to the other side of the coin, and you're talking about a Chargers team that had opportunities to win this game tonight. They really, truly did. I'm going to start with the miss in the first half. Then I want to talk about Herbert's toughness and him gutting it out, because he was clearly impacted by the, whatever he nicked up in the first half. He had the ankle initially, then it was the knee, and he played in the second half like a warrior. But before any of that transpired, before the knee or the ankle happened, he missed an opportunity to Josh Palmer that could have changed the game. It's 3-0 at that time. And Palmer is running as wide open as I've seen a player through the Chiefs secondary. You don't see this type of mishap in the Chiefs secondary very often. But this man is as wide open as it gets versus the Chiefs. And Herbert missed him. He overshot him. And one of my biggest things in this league when we talk about elite quarterbacks, which I think Justin Herbert is, by the way. And I think he sort of proved that again tonight with his play, despite being banged up and without his best receiver doing what they did in the second half. I think he continues to show you what he's all about. The whole non-interception streak and what he's doing this year is ridiculous. But I always talk about the separator in this league being, hey, when you get that opportunity to put a dagger in somebody's heart by hitting a deep ball, the elites, the best of the best, they don't miss. Now, Mahomes has missed a lot this year. He's had guys running free down the field, and he's missed. And that's not really who Mahomes has been throughout his career, but it's been who he's been this season for whatever reason. But generally speaking, the best, when they get that opportunity to put that dagger through your heart with a deep ball, they don't miss. And we ain't talking college open. We talking NFL open. That's a dude just has a step. That's open in the NFL. And the best of the best, they hit that one-on-one. Joe Burrow, you don't got to give him no space. If he see one-on-one with Jamar Chase, that's where he's going with the football. And best believe he's going to drop that bitch right over the outside shoulder. You can't do a damn thing about it. Good luck. You're going to need it. But you ain't stopping the shit. I've seen it firsthand way too many times. Josh Allen, there were throws today. If you watch that game against the Rams, that throw he had to Mac Hollins for the touchdown, you go, what the f is that about, bro? He's like, I'm trying to win this MVP. I don't know what you on, but I'm trying to get this trophy, right? I was like, touche, bro. Like, them elites, you give them a step. You already know what it is. And Herbert, for the second time this year, you trying to beat a team that's better than you. The Chiefs are better than you. The Ravens are better than you. You get an opportunity you cannot miss, bro. And he missed. And unlike the Ravens one, where it was a little bit tighter coverage, still he was open. He had 2 steps on the nearest defender. You got to hit that one. This one, the Red Sea parted. Literally, the Chiefs defense parted, and there was nothing but Josh Palmer by himself. Easy touchdown. And he overshot him. And I couldn't help but think to myself, you ain't trying to win tonight. Not if you missing that throw. You ain't trying to win. Good protection. Got to step into it. Wide open. Like, what more you want, bro? That's the one. Then he gets the ankle. Then he gets the knee. And I'm thinking, and then the Chiefs scored a touchdown right before the half, and I'm thinking, oh, no. This might get ugly. 13-0 at half. And, what I thought the biggest issue was in the first half, and they sort of rectified it in the second half, they had no run game whatsoever. At one point, it felt like they had totally abandoned the run in the first half. It's almost as if they acknowledged, hey, we don't got JK. This shit probably ain't going to work. We got Kamani Vidal and we got Gus Edwards, but this shit probably ain't gonna work. So we just gonna put it on 10 shoulders. He done it before, so he should be comfortable in this space. And I'm like, hey, that's not a winning recipe. And they found themselves in a lot of third and long down and distance situations in that first half, and it just didn't work out for them. And I was like, they got to do something, even if it's the short pass game. They got to find some way to mitigate the fact that the run game is ineffective right now. If they're not going to even try to run, you want to get the short pass game involved, screen game, short pass game, something, because you got to get into some more third and manageable situations, because they were living in 3rd and 7 and 8 and 9 in that first half. And it was because they couldn't run the ball or weren't even trying at times. Second half, it was a different story. Herbert started getting the ball out of his hands a lot quicker, but you also saw them get a little bit out of Kamani Vidal in the run game. Gus Edwards in the run game. They started to have a little semblance of the run game, coupled with the quick game, and then they start taking shots down the field. And look, we kill Johnston a lot because of the drops. We killed him against the Ravens when he had all those drops in that game and he was struggling. And he actually had been really good this season up until that Ravens game, it felt like. He, kind of had a meltdown in that game. And it carried over into the next week where he continued to have some of the drop season. It is what it is, right? But he was huge tonight. Whether he was catching the football, he had that big catch in the first half where he got lit up. And somehow he it's amazing. We've seen him drop some of the easiest balls this year. Then the one where he knows he's about to get his head taken clean off, he still somehow manages to catch it. He got lit up. And he held on to the rock. And sometimes if you pin it against your body and then you take the hit, it's already pinned against your body and the hit pins it against your body even more. So sometimes it puts you in a position to hold on to it. I think that's what happened to him, but still, it's a hell of a shot to take and still hold on to the ball. I know guys that are alligator arm that ball, or they anticipate the hit and they forget about the ball and they let that shit go so they can brace themselves for impact. He didn't do any of that. Then he had the big catch in the second half to kind of kick things off. Then he had the pass interference that he drew. Then he had the touchdown catch, and he took a little shot there, but he held on. Looked at the dude like, I thought he was huge tonight. Somebody had to step up. And really, between him and Palmer, they both split the duty, because I remember finding out Ladd McConkey was out like right before kickoff, and I'm like, oh, shit, they don't have a shot tonight. Not without their best receiver, Ladd McConkey. They out. They're dead. Dead, I tell you. Shocked to see the way that they fought without their best receiver and their best tight end, which is crazy for me to say, because I've been railing on them for their best tight end being a career blocking tight end. But Stone Smart, I've heard a lot about him. He went to ODU, so I know about him. And they've been telling me that Stone Smart's this, dynamic athlete. And as a Commanders fan, having a former quarterback turned tight end here at one point that we were really excited about, who was a tremendous athlete, I was like, yo, is Stone Smart really what y'all telling me he is? I don't understand why he doesn't get more opportunities. He was fantastic tonight. He had 2 catches, 45 yards. He looks like he could be a difference maker. Like, I don't understand why he's not getting more opportunities to catch the football, but that's nor here nor there. He was huge in the second half. Palmer was huge. So was Johnson. The run game kind of came to life, at least gave them some sort of, some semblance of balance. Herbert gutted it out. He showed his mettle and his toughness, and he made throw after throw after throw. And they were right there with a chance. Took the lead after trailing 13-0 at half. Took the lead 14-13. Was down 16-14. He took them back down the field. Took the lead 17-16. But the defense was going to need one more stop, and they couldn't get it. And you just wanted to see what would happen if they could get the ball back to 10 one more time. What would happen? I already knew, and the Chiefs knew it too, which is why they were hell-bent on not letting the Chargers touch it again offensively, because they already knew they weren't going to, especially with the cornerback situation being what it was, they already knew we can't stop them from getting back in the field goal range. And I've said this a million times. The new rules are very advantageous to teams getting into field goal range late in the game. If you kick it out of the end zone or you kick it in the end zone and it's to the 30, I mean, you're 2 big completions away from being in the field goal range. And then the Chargers place kicker didn't do them any favors, right? Dicker, the kicker, kicks the shit before the landing zone. So you already giving Mahomes a head start on beating your ass at the end of the game by having the ball placed at the 40-yard line. They just need a field goal. He don't need your help. It's Patrick effing Mahomes. He doesn't need your help. Thank you, but no thanks. Don't help him, okay? He can get down there on his own without your assistance. And just think about it from this perspective. And again, if the Chiefs needed to get closer, they could have. They had all 3 timeouts, and if they wanted to continue to push the ball forward, they could have. But just think about it from this perspective. If that kick is 2 yards back further, 2 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard might have been the difference between it hitting the inside of that post and kicking in and being good, and hitting the outside of the post and kicking off, or hitting it flush and bouncing back towards the field of play and being no good, right? Just think about that. Football is the ultimate game of inches. We talk about that all the time. You saw how that kick was kicked. Now think about the 40-yard line versus the 30-yard line. In those 10 yards. And no telling how the Chiefs would have played it, but just think about what could have been if that thing goes to the 30 instead of the 40. Who's to say that the Chiefs don't gain but 7 of those 3 yards, and now that kick is from, I think what did it end up being, like a 37-yard kick? Maybe it's from 40. If it was a 34-yard kick, maybe it's from 37 and he misses. But it's those little things, right? They add up. And the Chargers made too many mistakes against a team that I've said already was better than you from the jump. Made too many mistakes. And when you make mistakes against teams that are better than you, oftentimes you do not win the game. And if you're a Chargers fan, this is I'll leave you with this sentiment. All right. Your roster is incomplete right now. You had no J.K. Dobbins tonight. You had no Lat McConkey tonight, and you still went toe-to-toe with them. And I know there are no silver linings here, and you're not looking for any moral victories. I understand. I fully understand that mindset. As a fan of a team that's tired of losing to teams in the division, especially ones that are supposedly better than us, I'm not looking for any moral victories. God bless me. I'm not looking for your moral victories. I don't care about, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You need to hear this. I know you know this, but I'm going to tell you this anyway. You're an incomplete product. You don't have enough skill position players. You don't have enough weapons around Herbert. The run game can be upgraded. Obviously, the wide receiver position could be upgraded. The tight end position needs to desperately need to be upgraded. And yet, here you are for the second time this season going toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, and you did it without your 2 best players on offense, not named Justin Herbert and J.K. Dobbins, or maybe not your 2 best players, but your 2 most important players, not named Justin Herbert and Lat McConkey. And, okay, after the 2 tackles, okay, let's be specific. Your 2 most important, I should say, skill position players after Justin Herbert. Because your 2 tackles are your most important offensive pieces to protect Herbert, first and foremost. And then after those 2, it's J.K. Dobbins at the running back position, and it's Lat McConkey at the receiver position. And you didn't have either one of those, and you still had a chance to win tonight. Again, you're probably not going to take solace in that. Don't want to hear it at this point. I totally get it, but it's the truth. And just knowing that you're building, this is year 1 of Harbaugh, the best is yet to come. You should feel really good about where you are in the process. We're very similar, Commanders fans and Chargers fans, in the plight of our teams and the despair that we've had. And then look at our teams, first-year head coaches. We got star quarterbacks, both of us do. And you're 8-5. We're 8-5 in year 1 of the program. And you're probably going to make the playoffs as a wild card. And there are a lot of similarities. You got an incomplete roster. There's a lot of shit you got to fill in the gaps on. You got a first-year GM, first-year head coach. We got a first-year GM, first-year head coach. Your coach is second time around in the NFL. My coach is second time around in the NFL, but first-time GM. You got a first-time GM. It's a lot of similarities. A lot of similarities. I'll tell you this much, and again, probably won't come to this because of the way it's set up. I guarantee you the Chiefs don't want to see you for a third time. I'll tell you that right now. They don't want to see your ass in the playoffs. Home, away, it don't make a damn difference. They don't want to play you again. You'd have to do some work to get to them, though. Yeah, I have to do some work to get to them. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and go inside the odds, brought to you by BetUS. We'll come off the other side of that. We'll get to the comment section, see what you guys have to say. But let's go inside the odds, brought to you by BetUS.
Inside the odds.
So, looking for a new book? BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you were active the past 6 months. And most importantly, if you're a new user to BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Your next two deposits of $2,000, 125% sign-up bonus when you use the promo code YouTube150. Also, remember, bet responsibly. Don't bet more than you can afford to lose. And here's a big one, right? A lot of people skip over this one. Do not chase your losses. Very dangerous thing. Send you down a black hole that you may never be able to come out of. So this is old, as you can see. This is from November, but I was very interested. So I was out of the office. I didn't get home until halftime of the game, so I wasn't able to pull anything off of the site prior to the game kicking off. But I wanted to bring this up again because we now know that the odds for this are significantly different. So this was the conference winner prior to Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving, right? So the Chiefs were the favorite at plus 210. The Ravens were at plus 400. The Bills were second at plus 300 behind the Chiefs at plus 210. So your top three teams were the Chiefs 1, the Ravens, the Bills 2, the Ravens 3, and then at plus 800 were the Pittsburgh Steelers. So those are your top four teams. Nothing has changed in that regard in terms of the way we kind of think about this. Now, the Chiefs have, I think, separated themselves. They probably got a minus next to their name now with this 2-game cushion that they now have at 12-1. They've put themselves in a position where all roads to the Super Bowl through the AFC look like you have to go through the Chiefs. Unlike last year where the Chiefs were on the road and had to find a way to the Super Bowl for the first time in the Mahomes era. This year, you got to go back to Arrowhead to try to go get it done. The Ravens are no longer in that same vein. They're no longer the third, best team in terms of, conference winner odds because of their struggles here down the stretch. I would think that Buffalo is ahead of them. The Chiefs are ahead of them. The Steelers are probably now ahead of them as well. I don't know if there's another team that would have better odds than the Ravens. They probably have dropped back from third to fourth, no further than that. You look at the rest of the conference, I just don't see any other teams that fit the description. But the Chiefs, I think, have separated themselves. And then obviously with Buffalo's loss today, they've taken a step back. The Chiefs have taken a step forward. I think the Steelers have leapfrogged the Ravens. I thought that the Ravens were going to come back and win that division. It does not feel that way right now. Now, obviously, Steelers play the Eagles this upcoming weekend. I expect the Eagles to win that game, but we'll see because the Ravens, it's hard for me to kind of like with the Justin Tucker situation and, them being a little sketchy on offense at times, and the defense is, it's hit or miss. Really don't know what to make of the Ravens. They still could get it together. Things could start to fall into place for them. You're suspending a guy you traded for. Like, there's a lot going on with the Ravens right now. But all in all, it's always fun to look back at some of these odds, where they were at certain points. And prior to Thanksgiving, it felt a lot tighter, obviously, but the Chiefs have separated themselves. And I think you could argue that the Steelers are the second best team in the AFC right now. That's an argument that I think could be made because the thing that blew me away about Buffalo today was the fact that they couldn't get a stop. Like, they gave up 44 points today. And we'll talk about, I guess we'll talk about that on the podcast, because I got a lot to say about how that game ended. It was some of the most egregious coaching malpractice I've seen in the last month, because we've seen some crazy things done by coaches this season where I was like, oh my God, that's coaching malpractice. But I would argue it was some of the most egregious coaching malpractice that I've seen this season, arguably. So that scared me with the Bills a little bit, because we know once you get to the playoffs, it's cool to have a great offense, but you better be able to play some damn defense. You better be able to stop the run. You better be able to run the football. Like, these are things that you better be able to do, and the Steelers can do those things. They can stop the run, they can run the football, and they can play some defense. And yeah, scoring is big, and if you can score, that helps, but you better be able to strap it up and find a way to win tight games. And Buffalo's just, they spooked me a little bit. The Rams, they're a dangerous team, but you're not supposed to be giving up 44 points. Not this time of the year. That's not allowed. If you score 42 points, you're supposed to win the game. End of discussion. I don't want to hear anything else. And you lost. I'm not gonna lie, that spooked me a little bit. There was third down after third down after third down, and they could not get a stop. And then it got to fourth down after they finally got a stop on third. I would imagine the Rams were like 12 of 16 on third downs in the game against the Bills. It was ridiculous. And then of the 4 or 5 third downs they didn't convert, they converted on fourth down like twice. Anyway, I digress. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the stream and providing us with some of these odds. So let's get to the comment section. And before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. If you're out there, you want your comment to be read, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. Salud to everybody out there in the comment section. I cannot assure you that your comment will be read, but if time permits, we'll get to it if it is pertinent. Meanwhile, if you want to ensure that your comment is read and reacted to, and you want to jump straight to the front of the line, super chats are the way to get that done. So with that said, let's jump to the comment section, see what you guys have to say. And we start with Eric Sunderland. Been a member for 15 months. Who writes, oh my God, I can't stop laughing. Bank for the division. He said doink for the division. That was the line from Mike Tirico. Doink for the division. Did you know Chris Collinsworth was the one to coin the phrase double doink when the Cody Parkey double doinked the ball off the upright and then the crossbar, and it came back out against the Eagles probably like in it was the year after they won the Super Bowl, so it had to be 2018. And he coined the phrase double doink, so they go with the doink. So doink for the division. That is wild. I understand why you can't stop laughing, because that is crazy. I don't disagree with you there. John Perez, my guy, JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, breaking news in baseball before I forget. Juan Soto to the New York Mets, 15 years, $765 million. Steve Cohen and the Mets got their guy. I know you were following that very closely. As a Red Sox fan, you wanted I think you're a Red Sox fan still. I know you think you had jumped ship to the Dodgers at one point, but at your core, I think you're a Red Sox fan still. and you wanted the Red Sox to get him. The Mets have shown the ability to spend. They don't care. They're trying to win desperately. And Juan Soto is one of the best players in baseball. Clearly, that number signifies that. My wife was like, "Oh my God, 700! It's the richest contract in professional sports history." And my wife said, "Oh my God, somebody's gonna get to $1 billion at some point." Obviously, we're heading in that direction. Clearly, it'll be a baseball player, right? No football players getting remotely close. Like Mahomes signing for $500 million was crazy, but he signed a very team-friendly deal. We're never gonna see. I shouldn't say never. We're probably not gonna see a football player get there, but I know the basketball contracts are about to get insane here with the new collective bargaining agreement. Guys are going to be making somewhere in this neighborhood of 500 million, but baseball is the one. That's the one. Somebody's going to hit a billion at some point in baseball. My wife is like, man, I was like, look, if we can get the kids to play baseball, I've been advocating for that. They got to be nice now. Like you got to be like generational talent nice if you want this kind of. But I'm like, even if you're not that nice in baseball, if you could just find a way to get on a major league roster and be a consistent player, you can get to the baseball bag is the best bag that there is, right? It's the best bag there is. If you can pitch and you can throw strikes, you can play baseball till you're 45. Like Jamie Moyer was like 45 years old, still throwing the baseball. And these aren't cheap contracts. You sign a 1-year deal in baseball, it might be for $12, $13 million. Their arbitration, guys are in arbitration, they're getting $40, $50 million in arbitration, right? Like 1 year, $23 million arbitration for a pitcher. Like, it's different. That baseball now, it's different with baseball too, because you got to get to that bag, right? Juan Soto, the reason he's getting his money, he ain't made no money before. Juan Soto was on a minor league contract that he signed when he got drafted, and this is the first time, and this is the only time he's going to make real money. But it's $765 million. He ain't complaining, right? But you got to wait to get to that point. That's why you see these baseball contracts be this crazy, because you get drafted and you sign it feels like you sign your life away. You get drafted at 17, 18 years old, depending on if you get drafted straight out of high school, you get drafted in college, whatever. And then you sign that deal, and that's a 5-6 year deal. And then you got to play and you got to prove your worth. And then by the time you become a free agent, you're like 25, 26, 27 years old, but it's baseball. So I'm about to sign you to this 10, 12, 15-year deal, and look at what Juan Soto got. Crazy money. Good for him. I just hate it because I had gotten his ass out of the division, got him out of the entire conference, right? Got him out of the entire league. He was in the American League. Now he's not only back in the National League, he's back in my goddamn division. Shit. Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Black Al B writes, what it do, Lou? What's going on, Black Al B? I'm convinced the Chiefs recite the Chucky chant before each game. Shimbala Klemkla. Shimbala Gagak Shimkla Gabingla. LOL. But in regards to my Vikes, this is how y'all 40 burger tasted. This shit is magnificent. Man, I'm telling you, it ain't nothing like a 40 burger on a Sunday afternoon. That shit is delicious. I was about to say you should try it, but you still munching on one right now. That was really good. And it came at the expense of your boy Kurt, so that probably made it just a little bit more delectable and delicious. But, man, those 40 burgers, I've had 3 of them this year, so, I'm a veteran of the 40 burger this year. After years of being deprived of 40 burgers, I've been sinking my teeth into them all year long. It's so fun and they're so good. Oh my God. I'm glad you got to experience it. Speaking of burgers, the Washington Chef. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. The Washington Chef writes, Lou, saw your tweets during sales game, laughing my ass off. I was having a little fun. You know, I love to light a match on X, throw it back at the Eagles fans, and just walk away. Get them riled up, and then just walk away and go minding my business and go on about my day. And they get all in their feelings, and they get all riled up, and I just watch it burn, like. And they be so mad, right? They be coming after me. I love it. Hey, it's fun when, you know, we on the bye week and we just chilling and we watching the game. And I knew the game was going to be close with them in Carolina because some dumb better put down like $3.7 million on this game. Like, what is the psychological sense in that? And I know he almost had a heart attack. And this is why I knew the Eagles were going to win the game. But this is why I knew the game was going to be close. And me and Boss Man were sitting there watching with the fam. And we was talking about how we knew the game was going to be close. And sure enough, it's just amazing to see, you know, how this thing goes, man. NFL is crazy. But I know I got under their skin, and I loved it. Hey, they easily could have lost today. And everything that I say comes to fruition in terms of, you know, with Philadelphia. And here's the beautiful part about the Eagles and their fans. They're going to explain away the shit that's going on by saying we won. 9-game win streak. It's the same thing they did last year. They like to bury their head in the sand. And that is the bet. Like, you know, I feel really good about us getting exposed in that 3-game losing streak the way that we did, because it forced us to face the issues that we had, and we had to make adjustments, and we had to face the music. Winning mass deficiencies. They got a kicker problem through the Eagles. They were scared to kick a 54-yard field goal because their kicker hasn't made a 50-yard kick all season long. You can't go into the playoffs with a kicker who can't make a 50-yard field goal. They almost lost the game today because they were scared to attempt a field goal that would have put the game essentially out of reach. That's a problem. But they're not going to address that. You know why? Because they're winning. They have scored the least amount of points in the first quarter. I keep saying it. Hey, he's such a hater. He's harping on first quarter points, and he's harping on slow starts. You guys are so garbage, and they're winning, so they're not going to address that. I love it. It's the same shit they did last year when the defense was ass. They didn't address it. You know why? Because they were winning. When you're winning, you think you can just mask your deficiencies by winning. But eventually that shit wears off. And this is the perfect time for it to wear off, right when shit gets real. So this is a good spot to be in. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys did it too. I told you I was going to enjoy my bye week. I hope you enjoyed it as well. John Perez, my guy. JP, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, there were at least 3 or 4 games that KC should have lost, but the great teams find ways to win. 4th title coming, or did someone knock them off? I don't know, man. The more and more they win, and the more and more, like, the only thing that I think, the last time Mahomes lost a Super Bowl, it was because of the offensive line being inferior. They had a bunch of injuries, and by the time they got to the Super Bowl, their offensive line was unrecognizable, and the Bucs took advantage of that. At this point, the only way they don't win the Super Bowl is if that left tackle situation doesn't get rectified and Mahomes continues to take hits and they can't protect him adequately. That's the only way I see them losing, because if they can protect Mahomes, they're getting more weapons. Hollywood Brown coming back here is a big effing deal. Think about this. You got a lineup offensively you could put on the field with Xavier Worthy, fastest man in the NFL, Hollywood Brown, one of the fastest men in the NFL, and then two elite possession receivers in DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce. And then another guy that if you need to lean on him, you can, in Juju Smith-Schuster. Who's stopping that? And you can still hand it off to either Kareem Hunt or Isaiah Pacheco, by the way. And you can sprinkle in a little Samaje Perine when you need to. He had a big catch in this game on a third down where he should have been stopped short of the first down, but made a guy miss and carried another defender for extra 3 yards and got a first down. So they got all the shit they need to go do this again. In the defense, with all the injuries, they gave up 17 points tonight. Say what you want. That defense, they show up most weeks. There's the Carolina week that happens every now and again. But they show up most weeks. Showed up against Denver. They showed up against the Raiders. They showed up again tonight against the Chargers. They're not giving up a whole bunch of points. Every so often, the Buffalo game, it was really spotty. The Carolina game was really spotty. But usually when they're at home, that defense shows up and shows out. It's like the playoffs are going through in the AFC, are going through Arrowhead. So I expect the defense to show up. I'm not saying that they're going to win a third straight Super Bowl. No team has done that in NFL history, but all these shits are made to be broken. For the longest time, no team ever won the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Then the Rams did it. Or the Bucs. I think the Bucs actually did it in 2020. I think the Rams might have did it in 2021. So we went all that time with no team doing it. And I think we might have seen it done 2 years in a row. But it doesn't matter. Somebody at some point is going to win 3 straight. Why not have it be the team with the quarterback that might be the greatest in NFL history that we've ever seen? Makes sense, right? So we'll see what happens. Ebad Shamim, been a member for 2 months. Really appreciate you. Writes, are the Chargers being the most cursed team accurate? Or is the Chargers being the most cursed team accurate? I don't know, man. They got pretty rough luck, though. I mean, even when we were down bad and on our deathbed as a franchise and as a fan base, I would always look at the Chargers and go, man, we effing suck, but man, it sucks to be you right now. I would say that often. But I would have traded places with them in a heartbeat. They had Herbert, and they were in the playoffs a couple of years ago. But even then, they got there. They were up 27-7 or whatever, 27-0, whatever the score was. Couldn't have been 27-0. It was like 27-7, I think. And they lost the game to Jacksonville. The Chargers fans have, like, I've said this a number of times. There's only one fan base that can truly understand the plight of the Commander fan, and it's the Charger fan. Because nobody else has been through more shit and more heartbreak than Chargers fans. Nobody's been through more heartbreak than Chargers fans. We've been through more disappointment. Disappointment is different than heartbreak. Heartbreak comes with expectation. We were just disappointed because, goddamn, we suck. We can't even beat the winless Bears at home. We getting throttled by the winless Bears at home. That's the type of shit we was on. They would be up against good teams and then find a way to lose. I don't know if anybody's more. I don't like the word cursed. But being a Chargers fan has to be rough. I will say that. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Chiefs voodoo magic always kicks in at the end. Look, man, I always say they living right. The Chiefs are living right. And when you're living right, shit seems to go in your favor. And it's part of the reason why I have no animosity towards the Chiefs. How can you not love Andy Reid? Right? Bundalaruski do, right? Like, how can you not love Andy Reid? What was the dude on Popeye that used to eat all the goddamn burgers all the time? All he did was eat burgers. He ain't say shit. He just ate burgers. What's his name? That's Andy Reid, right? Even the same mustache, right? Little hat on his head. I don't remember his damn name. But if you old enough, you know what the hell I'm talking about. He ain't do shit but eat burgers. That's Andy Reid. How can you not like Andy Reid? And Mahomes ain't never done nothing to nobody. His brother ain't shit. His dad is an N-word, but Patrick is everything you want your quarterback to be. He don't say nothing bad about nobody, even though he be feeling some type of way. The Raiders made fun of this man and his Kermit the Frog voice. They had a little puppet in camp. He's like, we'll see them. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it then. Like, how can you not like Patrick Mahomes? You know? They living right. And when you living right, the ball bounces your way and fortune favors the brave. The Chiefs, the Lions, etc. Fortune favors the brave. Marquell Randall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Marquell writes, we talked a lot after the Eagles and Panthers. Hope we back it up or all will be for naught. Look, I wasn't talking trash to Eagles fans about anything other than you had an inferior opponent at your building and you let them push you to the limit. That's all I was talking about. That doesn't change this is why I love mess with Eagles fans, because they'll spin this narrative into, oh, this, that, and the third. I still think the Eagles are a good team. I still think they're going to beat the Steelers on Sunday. I still think the Eagles are the second best team in the conference. I can talk my shit about that game. They let a 3-win team come into their house, just like we did, but it's different when it's family business. The Panthers they're not relatives. We don't know them. That's a stranger. You're supposed to kick a stranger's teeth in when they come to your house if they're a 3-win team and we 14 weeks into the season. You're supposed to beat the brakes off of their ass. And they let the 3-win Panthers come in their house and cause a ruckus, cause a stir. Family business is family business. We saw that with the Browns and the Steelers, the Browns and the Ravens. It don't matter. When it's family business, the Jaguars went into Tennessee with Mac Jones at quarterback, who threw 2 interceptions and beat them 10-6. I get it. Both of those teams were awful, but it's family business. You throw the records out the window. That shit is irrelevant. So us losing to Dallas, it's a family business issue. We'll tend to that family business. You stay out of it if it ain't got nothing to do with you, right? That's the Panthers, though. That's the Carolina Panthers. I ain't trying to hear no shit about, hey, have you been watching the Panthers lately? They pushed the Chiefs that was in Carolina. That was not at Kansas City. That was not at Arrowhead. Oh, they almost beat the Bucs. That's family business. That ain't your family business. Stay out of it. That was also at home. They ain't do none of that shit on the road, though. You let them come into your house and you let them almost leave with a dub. I ain't trying to hear the shit. I ain't trying to hear it. That's embarrassing, is what that is. That's embarrassing. Doesn't change the fact that the Eagles are a good team. And I believe they're a good team. But they have flaws, which is all I've been saying the entire time. You have flaws. We asked LB, what are you most afraid? And he'll sit there and tell you some bullshit about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. Or he'll bring up some stupid ancillary bullshit that don't have nothing to do with nothing. And he's one of them Eagles fans that like to bury his head in the sand. The real issues are there, and they on the surface, but he don't want to talk about it. Eagles fans don't want to talk about it. We won 9 in a row, franchise record. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But I see you over here struggling with Carolina, so I know what's real and what ain't real. Your quarterback had 108 yards passing or whatever. Like, it's like 3-4 weeks of that shit now. I'm just telling you he's a passenger. You don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't try to kill the messenger. I'm just telling you the man he's a passenger. The man had 100 yards passing this week. He had 100 yards passing last week. He's Alex Smith. He's Black Alex Smith. That's it. And it's cool. Alex Smith won a lot of regular season games. He won a lot of regular season games. I ain't talking shit. I'm talking facts. That's it. Red Mustang Guy, 2017. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I see you, Louie, talking trash and trolling the Eagles and their fans during their game today. You better stop with that crap or else I'm going to slap you around and flag your channel down faster than you can say HTTR. Do what you must. Do what you must. Do what you feel. I'll be sure to make sure I save this comment right here. All right? Do what you got to do. I appreciate the 20 spot, though, to tell me that you were going to try to do some malicious shit to my channel. Kick rocks. Marquell Randall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, as much as I want to down the Eagles, the Panthers have played the Chiefs close, the Buccaneers in overtime, and the Chiefs close. You just said the Chiefs close twice. That benching has changed young. Both of those games were at home. Again, I don't care nothing about. Honestly, here's how I feel. I don't give a shit about what nobody else is doing. I don't care what they did against Kansas City. I don't care what they ain't us. What I'm not going to do is let a team that's a 3-win team come into my house and not wipe their feet and get too damn comfortable in my house. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let that happen. You ain't coming in my house and dictating terms to me and telling me what I'm going to do, and you a 3-win team. Man, you better go sit down somewhere. You ain't a family member and you trying to tell me what to do with 3 wins? We got an issue. We got a big, big, big issue on our hands. We got a problem. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not having that. Sorry. Not having that. And that benching definitely changed. But I talked about this on the podcast. A lot of these young quarterbacks got sat down and they came back better because of it. Bryce Young is one of them. Anthony Richardson is another one. Will Levis is another one. Like all of these young quarterbacks in that 2023 draft class got sat down, came back off of that benching and was like, all right, I see it now. I can see clearly now that the benching is gone. So he played well, man. If Xavier Legette could catch, we might be talking about a different outcome in that game. And to think, I wanted Xavier Legette on our team. I would have been cussing his monkey self out. J.2626. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, bro, please talk about the phony Eagles, LOL. Been waiting on that. I mean, at the end of the day, they still, 11-2? Like, it ain't but so much you can say about them. They're a good football team. Like, don't get it twisted. I talk trash and I have fun. And watching them struggle today was fun. It gave me those Cleveland Brown feelings all over again, right? Them like they always got an excuse why they struggling with a bad team at home. It's one thing if you go on the road against a bad team and you fighting for your life on the road. They struggling with bad teams at the crib. That's unheard of activity. Bad teams that's not in your division. Let me be more specific and not to try to give us an out. But we all understand family business is family business for a reason, right? It ain't okay to struggle with bad teams at the crib when you're supposed to be one of the best teams in the league. That's not okay. Like the Chiefs struggled with Carolina in Carolina. Anything can happen on the road, bro. Chiefs ain't struggling with Carolina at home. It's a different animal when you at your at your house. Anyway, Juan Gotti talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Juan Gotti talking sports rights. What's up, Lou? What's up, Juan? We be in that 6th seed by Sunday Night Football next week. I don't think the Packers are losing to the Seahawks. I don't see it happening. I love your optimism, though, and I'm not going to shoot you down, but Seattle hasn't been a great home team this year. Some of their worst games have come at home this year. As a matter of fact, their worst games have come at home this year. 49ers lost, Giants lost. They haven't been a great home team this year. And the Rams loss as well was a bad loss. Most of their losses, as a matter of fact, have come at home this year. I surmise that Green Bay is going to go in there and they're pissed off. They're going to have a 10-day layoff. They played Thursday night, so they're going to have a little bit of extra rest. They're going to go in there and they're going to run the football on those boys, and they're going to really take it to Seattle. I think Green Bay is going to win that game. But we got to take care of our business. Like I don't want to talk about anybody else. We got to take care of our business, but Derek Carr getting hurt doesn't sound like he's going to play against us. That makes it a lot more feasible to see us. I mean, we were going in there winning anyway, whether Derek Carr was playing or not. I wasn't afraid of Derek Carr at all. But their backup quarterback situation sucks. So I expect us to be able to destroy them, if they have no Derek Carr and it doesn't feel like he's going to play. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan writes, disappointed in your boy Leggett today. Man, who you telling? I jumped out of my seat when I thought it was a touchdown, right? And my dad said, you in the way, I can't see. And I moved out the way. He said, that ain't even no damn touchdown. I turned around, I looked. I said, this mother effer, this horse riding bastard didn't catch the ball. And once he didn't catch that, I knew they were going to lose. Like, bad teams find a way to lose games. This is one of the things me and Boss say all the time. Bad teams are going to bad team. They're going to find a way to lose. And once he didn't catch that, they couldn't overcome that. But, another thing that was really interesting, we need to go find we got a white receiver. I was about to say, we got to go find us a white receiver. Because I saw that Cooper DeJean couldn't cover. He couldn't cover Adam Thielen. It was white on white crime. I was like, we need to go get us a white receiver. That's how you can cook his ass. He can cover the brothers. He can't cover the white receivers. Adam Thielen was giving him work. He puts in work. He was giving his ass work. I said, we need to go get us a white. Oh, shit, we got a white receiver. So we need to put our white receiver out there so he could cook goddamn Cooper DeJean's ass. It was fun watching that shit. He was barbecue ribs out there earlier yesterday. He says, it's like that meme. Man, we were right there. Hey, they had their chances. I don't feel bad for the Panthers. They had their chances. You only get so many of them, right? Laughing my ass off. He says, I'm proud of Bryce. He made a ton of plays. He ain't done. I've been a Bryce apologist. Even when Panthers fans were dumping on him and they told me he physically couldn't do it, I said, well, trade him somewhere else. Because this man didn't forget how to play football. He was one of the best quarterbacks in high school. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college. Now you're trying to tell me all of a sudden he can't play? He can't physically do it? He played in the SEC. He didn't play in the SWAC. Like, nah, I ain't buying that shit. Bryce was out there balling too. He was out there balling. The Black LB. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, we gave a great eulogy for Cousins. Very demure. Hey, y'all did Kirk dirty today, man. Hey, Kirk, I've been a Kirk Cousins apologist for a long. Kirk Cousins is ass, and he's getting old, and old ass can sometimes be good ass, but in this case, old ass is trash ass. And he old, man. Pause. It's about time for him to pass that torch to the young fella. He looks cooked. He is cooked, bro. It's bad. And, you know, I blame Younghoe Koo for this shit because I think Kirk in the back of his mind, like, his ass ain't going to make the kick. I got to do something. Now they going for it on 4th down when they shouldn't because Younghoe Koo ain't making field goals. Kirk forcing the ball in this tight spaces where it don't belong. Pause. Because he don't think Younghoe Koo going to make the kick. It's a sad state of affairs, man. Really sad. Really sad. Very demure. I love it. Cheers to that one. Cheers to a very demure eulogy. Good one, Black B. Good one. Good one. Ethan Dykes. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, E. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Right. Also, Josh Alien Allen, 6 total touchdowns. He's the league's MVP, man. As good as Saquon Barkley's playing. And again, he deserves to be in that discussion. The MVP is generally reserved for quarterbacks. It's when you don't have a quarterback that has risen to that level that you give it to somebody else. And as good as Saquon Barkley is playing, Saquon, in order to win the MVP, would have to break Eric Dickerson's all-time rushing record, which somebody's going to do it now that we've extended it to 17 games. Somebody's going to do it, and Saquon's in a position to do it this year. We'll see if he does, if he's able to do it. But you know, look, I say this, but OJ ran for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. That's probably the most impressive feat that we've seen in NFL history. And then Eric Dickerson and all the other running backs that have done it did it with a 16-game season. So are you going to put an asterisk next to theirs? No, you're not going to do that. But it is 17 games. But what Saquon Barkley is doing is phenomenal. You can't take that away from what him and what he's done to this point. If he breaks the record, I think he's the MVP. But if he doesn't, it's Josh Allen. And Allen put on a show today. The problem was his defense was a no-show. He put on a show, and his defense was a no-show. And that's what's got me spooked with Buffalo right now. I'm spooked because they had the best plus-minus in the NFL. The defense was humming, and I didn't see that coming. The Rams, I told y'all this a couple of weeks ago. The Rams aren't a good team. They're inconsistent. You don't know what Rams team is going to show up. The Rams are capable of doing what they did today, and then they're also capable of losing to the Chicago Bears or some lesser team that they play, the following week. Like, they didn't score a touchdown against Miami at home on a Monday night. That's the type of shit the Rams be on. Like, you don't know which Rams team is going to show up. But the one that showed up today, that's a dangerous team that you don't want no parts of. Good thing is, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But if they're capable of doing that, all bets are off. All bets are off. They got a tough schedule remaining, but that was a hell of a win today. But Josh Allen is definitely the MVP of the league right now, as it stands. Scotty the Man T. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Rights. Ref was helping Carolina. You forgot that, dummy? Are you complaining about the refs helping a 3-9 team at your crib? Really? Is that what you've been reduced to? Crying about the officials against a 3-9 team? Are you down that bad that you're complaining about the officials against a 3-9 team at your crib? Damn, Scotty. That's rough. Hey, cheers, Scotty. You won the game, man. Why so mad, right? Why you mad? Why you mad, Scotty? You won the game. That's 9 in a row. Why you mad? Tell him why you mad, Scotty. Why I gotta be a dummy? You won the game, Scotty. You mad because they ain't called a face mask at the end of the game? That's what you relying on? A face mask penalty? So you don't lose 23-22 at home to the 3-9 Panthers? That's why you mad? Come on, Scotty. You better than that, man. You better than that. Man, pick up your cup, man, and let's cheers to a good finish to the season, man. Why you mad, Scotty? Cause you struggling at home to Carolina? Cause Adam Thielen was digging in your ass? Pause. Cause Bryce Young was out there getting frisky on you? That's why you mad at me? What'd I do? I'm just watching the game like everybody else. Cause your kicker can't make a 50-yard kick, you mad at me. So I did something wrong. Cause your quarterback threw for 108 yards. You mad at me. What'd I do, Scotty? Damn. Look, man, you 11-2. Why you mad at me? Why you mad at me, Scotty? You 11-2. Cheers. Duncan, I know you got a glass tonight. I know you got a glass. Duncan Wright, been a member for 10 months, who writes, we be 10-2. See, he can't even get the record right. So I'm gonna take a sip because he can't even get the record right. I ain't gonna call you Drunken Right like everybody else do. I'm gonna respect the game, and I'm gonna call you Duncan Right. But you can't even get the record right. I don't even know if the rest of your comment is even valid. Take a sip for Duncan Wright. We be 10-2. So you best be giving Jalen his proper respect as an elite quarterback. Elite quarterback? Really? I'm not gonna get into that with you. Because you couldn't even get the record right. So I'm not gonna get into that with you. Unlike Jordan Donald, who I think is a fraud. Who the hell is Jordan Donald? I see what you was trying to do there. That was a swing and miss. Strike 3. But okay, I got you. Who I think is a fraud, Jalen Hurts delivers. Meh. Hey, look, man. If breaking a tackle on 3rd down and 9 and running for 13 yards, which is really good, I want my quarterback doing that too. That's the best attribute. That in the tush push, that's the best thing he has to offer for y'all. He's really a passenger. He's really a basic. Man, is he a basic. Dudes be open, man. I know it'd be tough to watch as Eagles fans. I know y'all be over there mad. You big man. He be missing receivers open. A.J. Brown be open and he'll throw that bitch out of bounds. Hey, y'all 11-2 though. So just bury your head in the sand and act like everything's okay. Because that's y'all move. So go ahead and do it. Anyway, I digress. We've reached our limit tonight. Chiefs get the big win, man. 19-17 over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Kansas City Chiefs are your AFC West division champs. They get the caps on tonight. That was a ball cap game. They get the division champ caps tonight. Clinch the division. Now their sights are set on clinching the #1 seed. If I'm not mistaken, a couple of wins will do that for them. They can't do it next week because Buffalo owns the tiebreaker over them. So they have to get to where they are up to with 1 to go, I would assume. So they would probably need to get to the final week of the season and be up 2. Because if they're up 2 with 2 left and they lose the final 2, obviously, and Buffalo wins the final 2, if assuming Buffalo wins the rest of their games, they could still end up tied. So they got a little ways to go there. But 12-1, they're in the driver's seat, up 2 games on the rest of the conference for the #1 seed. You got help coming on the way with Hollywood Brown. This Chiefs team, man, I tell you, You had your chances. Everybody had your chances. Week 1, week 2, week 8, week 9, week 13, week 12, 13, and 14. You had your chances. And only one team could get these guys, a loss. And so I'm not telling you they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not telling you that. But what I am telling you is they're going to be right there again. I'd be shocked if they're not in the AFC Championship. I'd be shocked. That's what I'm telling you. Because it feels like right now all roads to the AFC Championship game and to the Super Bowl through the AFC go through Arrowhead. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, that's a playoff team. I told y'all that. When they lost to the Ravens, I said, this is a playoff team. And I wouldn't be shocked if they saw the Ravens again in the postseason. I'm doubling down on that. But now, I thought the Ravens at that time was going to win the division. Ravens ain't winning the damn division, I don't think, against the Steelers. So, they probably won't see them. But this is a playoff team. This Chargers team is a playoff team. They're better than the Denver Broncos, to me. And they had an opportunity tonight, down their best running back, down their best receiver. They still went in there and had the lead with less than 4 minutes to go in this football game. They had the lead. They had the lead with 1 second left in the game until they kicked the field goal that doinked for the division through the upright. But Harbaugh has changed that team's mindset. They compete to the bitter end, and they had their chances tonight. And got to give Herbert credit. He was banged up in the first half. He gutted it out, gave them a chance. Guys stepped up. Stone Smart, Johnston, Palmer, they all stepped up. And it still wasn't enough. And that's frustrating. But that's life. When you play in a division with the best there is, the best there was, and arguably the best there ever will be. That's tough. That's life. Chargers fall 19-17. They're 8-5. I still think that's a playoff team. We saw 2 playoff teams play each other tonight. And Chiefs are 12-1, clinched the division, and now they got their sights set on the number 1 seed, as I mentioned. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Want to give a quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. Again, if you're looking for a new book, head over to BetUS.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% off of your first deposit up to $2,000 and your next 2 deposits up to 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll do this again tomorrow. Obviously, Cincinnati Bengals at the Cowboys. That should be a ton of fun. 2 teams that aren't going anywhere, but it's fun nonetheless, right? It's the Cowboys. They're down bad. Want to poke fun at them. I actually think they could win the game. Bengals, Burrow having an MVP caliber season, but obviously the results aren't what you need them to be. That should be a fun game tomorrow. Looking forward to it. So should you. And we'll break all of that down here on the Louie T Network tomorrow. But until then, you guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. God bless and good night.